When a famous bouncer is hired to whip a small-town bar into shape, he falls in love with the crush of the town's most ruthless and rich businessman, and then everyone fights. I've been hearing about Roadhouse for literally 3 decades, but I just never thought a movie about a small-town bouncer starring the sexiest man of the 1980s was something that would interest me. Boy, was I wrong. I did not realize that the movie has some of the best one-liners of all time. I didn't realize there were more fight scenes in this movie than movies that are about fighting. I had no idea that the movie had a full album's worth of great songs performed by an incredible band fronted by a blind man. Basically what I'm saying is I've been missing out. Roadhouse is great, and for the first time in my life, I can actually see what all the ladies of the 80s and the 90s saw in both Patrick Swayze and Sam Elliott. And the movie takes itself very seriously, which I love, because you know the cast and crew had to realize how ridiculous the plot was while they were filming it. I don't even really know where to start with the ridiculousness. Patrick Swayze is a bouncer at a bar. He's a famous bouncer. Do you know any famous bouncers? No, there are no famous bouncers. But not only is Dalton, Patrick Swayze's character, famous, his mentor, portrayed by Sam Elliott, is even more famous. In what world is the bouncer at a bar more famous than the band performing on stage each night? Now, the bar that Dalton is hired to whip into shape is a small town bar, but every night there are hundreds of people there, and it is as rowdy as it gets. Beer bottles are flying, there's knife fights, people are pulling out guns. I can't believe that if you went there once, you'd ever want to go back. You'd fear for your life. And there are more people going to this bar each night than even live in this small town. Have you ever heard of Chekhov's gun? It states that if a gun is introduced in the first act of a story, it will be used at some point during the story. Now, there's no Chekhov's gun in Roadhouse. There is a Chekhov's monster truck, though. Oh yeah, you heard that right. There's a guy in Roadhouse who drives a monster truck. And I don't mean a big truck. I mean a literal monster truck. And no one in town ever comments on it. In every scene of Roadhouse, we get great one-liners. I can't really pick a favorite, but the one that I keep going back to and thinking about because of how stupid it is, Dalton, after being shot or stabbed or cut at the bar at night, goes to the hospital to get stitches. And the doctor who's working on him says, "You need stitches. This is gonna hurt. Let me numb the spot so you don't feel it." And Dalton's response to her is, "Pain don't hurt." What? Pain don't hurt. But the thing is, he was saying it to prove how macho he was and using it as a pickup line. And it worked on a doctor. The next scene, he's making out with her in the barn he lives in. Did I mention that Dalton lives in a barn? And that barn, the window next to his bed, overlooks the mansion of the bad guy in the movie, so they can always keep an eye on each other. Everything about Roadhouse is just ridiculous and awesome. The bad guys are just bad for no reason. Everybody loves the good guys, even though they haven't really done anything to be loved for. But between the great cast of characters, the incredible one-liners, and just the oozing sexiness of Patrick Swayze and Sam Elliott, this is an 80s movie I am sad that I did not watch until now. Being one of the 1980s sexiest men alive, getting stitches, interrupting workplace inappropriateness, living in a barn, masculine fight scenes, monster trucks, non-traditional guitar playing,